Right. Well, we are back after watching some tantalizing footage of some things. Okay. So setting up the multiplayer was a lot easier than we thought. Is nice though. That freaked me out for a whole second there. Okay, but we need to set up multiplayer lobbies. Is the whole thing that we're trying to do here, right? So let's keep it going.
Hello guys and welcome to my tutorial about how sessions work in Unreal Engine. So basically how you can host a game for multiplayer and how other players can then find that game that you hosted in multiplayer and join it. By the way, if you guys are interested in this little project, it's available in one of your projects. And in that sessions folder I've already created some widgets which will help us understand how the sessions here work. So we have a create a session widget, a find session widget, which is basically a server browser. Then we have a join session widget, which is an item in the server browser. So when we find sessions, this is the item. And eventually, once we go from the main menu level into the gameplay level, then at that point we can also leave the session. So the first thing I want to talk about is what are sessions and how do they work. Well, basically, Unreal Engine has what is called an online subsystem installed. And the one that is standard integrated is what we call the default online subsystem. So what is an online subsystem? Well, as it says here on their own documentation page, an online subsystem is an interface that provides a common way to access functionality.
Okay, we already saw that part, right?
Gives you by default. So these are the nodes: create session, find session, join, and destroy. So imagine that you host a session on your own local network, and then that is running on your PC. So your PC is then running that session. Then in that scenario, you cannot expect that other players who are not on your own home local network can find your hosted session. So what can you do? Well, if you host a session in your own local network, then your home PC 1 and your home PC 2 could, for instance, find the session and join each other. Okay. So we take a look at that over here. If I host a session here on the left for 2 players, if I create that and I enter the session here, then on the right here I can hit find session, and then it will look for my sessions. Then eventually here it will find my local network hosted session, and it will say 1 out of 2 players, 34 ping, and I can then join that game. So as you see, I'm now connected to my own session here, hosted on my local network.
Bad ping is like 200.
But let's say that I want to host a game and have other people find it. Well,
150 isn't that bad.
The online subsystem really comes into
like
place.
250 or 300 ping is like, get away from me.
Steam, like,
what is this fucking dial-up? What are you doing?
What are you even playing? Which allows for us to host matches on their network.
You can just see a person like teleport on your screen, like whoop whoop whoop.
Can find other matches through their system, and so does Epic. So we have Steam as an option for this, and we also have the Epic.
Yes, we know.
So that we found on the subsystem that you find a session. Here you have a return of all the sessions that have been publicly once blocked. Matchmaking. No, these systems also ensure that you have.
Okay, come on.
And what we can do by default is simply create sessions.
We can find the sessions though. I guess we could find sessions on those different networks though, maybe. Like on Steam, or find it on the Epic, or find them. That might be the place to link it right there and find session.
Of all the sessions that have been found on the subsystem that you are currently using, and from that session result you can then get information, and the information that is available for us by default is this information over here. So we have get current players, we can get the max amount of players, we can get the ping of the session, and we can get the session server name, which in case you are hosting a session on Steam is your Steam username, in case you're hosting a session on Epic, it's your Epic username, and in case you're hosting a session on your local home network like this, it's the name of your PC. And we can take another look at that over here. If I
okay, let's say that again.
You can get the max amount of players.
Okay.
And then get and do
the functions. I didn't get all that shit.
Find them, join them, and
so first get our current players, right?
Destroy them. And from these sessions,
how does
we
it
can
know
get
that?
some information. So let's say you find a session. Here you have a return of all the sessions that have been found on the subsystem that you are currently using, and from that session result, you can then get information, and the information that is available for us by default is this information over here. So we have get current players, we can get the max amount of players, we can get the ping of the session, and we can get the session server name, which in case you are hosting a session on Steam is your Steam username. In case you
So, I mean, it would be cool to have as many players as we possibly can, but we should probably have two to begin with, right?
Hmm.
Because we're having a lot of shit going on, like all of the fucking different Pokemon battles. I don't know if we want to have a four-player Pokemon battle yet.
I don't know. Maybe not
I
yet.
mean, it might be possible because they have things like Fortnite and they have
Yeah, if we can get it
Pal
done,
World.
we'll do it.
But would I don't know? Would you want to have a four-player one?
Yeah. I gotta get back
Yeah.
You're hosting a session on Epic, it's your Epic username. And in case you're hosting a session on
Oh.
your local home network like this, it's the name of your PC. And we can take another look at that over here.
Okay.
If I host a session over here and find it here on the right, then we will see, since I am now using the default online subsystem, that it will return my PC name, which is hosting that session. Then let's talk about how you can get these nodes here. What you're going to do is right click somewhere in your graph. So typically you would do this inside of your widget graphs, and you're going to type session. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you will get to this category called online, and then you will see session. And over here you see the 4 available session functions here and the 4 available peer functions where you can get information from the sessions. So if you click over here on create session, for instance, you will get this node, and then you can install it in the corresponding widget. Alright, so now that that's clear and that we have kind of an understanding of what a subsystem is, then let's look at how you can find other players on the subsystem. Well, it's basically like this. Imagine that you're on your own home local network and that you are then connected to Steam and your game is integrated with the Steam online subsystem. At that point, when you host a session, it will no longer be available over here, but it will then be available on the Steam online subsystem. And then some other player that is also connected to the internet from his home, and some other people in the world can find that session. And that's where the online subsystems come into play. Now, if you don't want to make use
Okay,
of...
something that's important though. Did he say that you could download his template? Online documentation. Our template. How much is this template? But the thing that sucks is that even if I had that, I can't use his template because I'd have to start over from scratch, and that's dumb. So I'm not gonna do that. But it would be cool to know how much. $60. Oh my god. Beginning multiplayer lobby. $60. That would be nice, though, to have right away. I have a multiplayer first-person shooter template, but that is not what we're doing right now. Oh, we need to just set this up. I want just basic multiplayer between two
online
people.
subsystem, then there's other solutions as well. So some popular solutions for that in that case are, for instance, Microsoft's PlayFab. So PlayFab is a huge backend as a service solution, and it gives us the following features. So you can host your multiplayer servers there, you can do content management, you can have your game economy there, you can also have leaderboard and statistics, and things such as achievements and overall just data management. So you can basically store player information and stuff like that. And then you could, for instance, not use a Steam online subsystem or Epic's online subsystem, but in this case you could then make use of PlayFab's matchmaking system in order to find the matches that you expose. And on PlayFab you could also, for instance, here host your dedicated servers, and then these dedicated servers can be found with the matchmaking of PlayFab as well. So that's another solution. And besides PlayFab, another popular solution is Amazon's GameList. Alright, then as mentioned before, this is the information that we can get from the sessions by default. So it's not that much information. You cannot, for instance, see the game mode that somebody's playing or the map that somebody's playing in a session and stuff like that. So to solve that, the community has actually made a solution, and that is what we call the Advanced Session plugin. So this is a community plugin, it's free, and you can download it over here from the forum using the link in the description. And this plugin, for instance, gives us a lot more options than what our engine gives us by default. So for instance, over there you can expose the game mode, or the map that somebody's playing in, and just show a lot more information in the server browser than what our engine here gives you. Alright, now that we have a good understanding of what sessions are and some of the basics regarding sessions in our engine, then we're going to talk about how you can actually properly integrate these nodes and how you should hook them up. So to do that, I'm going back to my main folder
local
here
area
and tell you
network.
guys
I
about
don't
the
need
structure that I've set up
Xbox
here.
Live or something.
Inside of my blueprint folder, I have set up a little main menu. It's a simple game mode here with a player controller assigned to it. And all this player controller does is that it starts our UI over here in the main menu. This game mode is assigned in this level over here, as you see. Then in the gameplay folder, we have a gameplay game mode and a gameplay player controllers. And then for that to work, we have a main menu level and then we have a gameplay level. So what we're going to do here is that in the main menu, we're going to host a session. And then once we host that session, we will travel to the gameplay level in which the session will then take place. And then the second player here from the main menu can use the server browser to find the session that's going on in the gameplay level from the other player and join that player. Alright, so let's take a look at how this works. First of all, we're going to take a look at the create session widget here and then take a look at the graph to see how we can implement this node. So basically, if we take a look at the node, it asks for three things: a player controller, public connections, and use LAN or not. So this is a boolean, which means it's just true or false whether or not we want to use LAN.
Local area network.
Means hosting it on a local network and not on the internet. Public connections is the amount of players that you want to allow in the session. So if you set that to 8, then a maximum amount of 8 players can join in your session, and your player controller is simply your player controller of your game. So that's what it asks us here. So the first thing you're going to do is simply promote these to a variable so that we can then set these. So what I have done over here, and you can take a look at this simple UI structure on the left and copy it, is creating a simple editable text box here in which we can input the amount of players, and then a simple checkbox here whether or not we want to use LAN, and eventually a button which then creates the session. So if we take a look at that, the editable text box simply sets the amount of public connections. So if I input 5, 5 is set there. The checkbox says whether or not we are using LAN, and eventually when we hit the create session button, we actually create the session. Now, the first thing you need to understand is when you create the session, you have to use this function over here, and you get it by typing open level. And once you got that, you want to put the level in here which you want to travel to when you create the session. So in our case, we are in the main menu level and we want to travel to our gameplay level. And then the second thing that you have to know is that in the options here, we have to put listen. And what listen means is that we create a listen server. So that means that all the clients basically listen to...
Okay, so I mean, it's cool, but I want to be making this stuff and not just like hearing him talk about it is obnoxious. And he's mainly just selling his template here, so this is cool, but this is not very helpful. But it is what we're going to basically have to be doing. I didn't know about Azure either. So that sucks, actually. So I don't know. Let's listen to the rest of it just so I get a really good basis on what I'm probably going to have to build myself without
host.
Right.
And that's what is also known as the client server
only 8
model.
more minutes anyway.
That's the multiplayer model that on our engine integrated by default. So you can test that model if you click here on the top and then go to net mode, and over here we see listen server, which is a server client model. So one player is a host and the other players are clients and join that host. Alright, so this is the only setup you need in order to host a match. So we then take a look at that. If I simply type in a number like 5 over here, for instance, and then hit create, then we travel to that gameplay level in which we can then run around and have our gameplay logic. That's all for hosting a level. Then let's talk about how we can find sessions and then join them. So if we take a look inside of the find session UI, all this is a server browser, so it's basically a scroll box here, and once sessions are found, the scroll box will get populated with these sessions, and these sessions, I use this widget for it, join session widget, and all this really is basically a horizontal box having a server name, having an amount of players here, and having ping as a text, and then a join session button. So to explain this join session widget first, if we look at the graph here, then on event construct this widget, we're going to set our server name, and these are those pure functions that I've shown you guys before over here. So as you see, these These functions here, they all ask for a result. So the first thing you're going to do is right click that result and promote it to variable. That's what I've done over here, and then you get yourself a variable of the type blueprint session result. That one we're then going to make it instance editable and expose it on spawn. What that means is that inside of the server browser, once we create our widgets, then you see that search result here exposed, which means we can then basically fill in the information in this search result variable. So once that variable has been set, then basically we get the server name, we set it, we get the max amount of players, we append that to a string with a slash in here, and then we set that amount of players, and then we get that ping, which is available for us as well, and we set that ping text. So now basically this text, and this text have been set. We're then going to have a look at the server browser, which is my find session blueprint over here. So for the server browser, as you see, my structure is fairly simple. We have a vertical box. In there we have find session button. We then have a little horizontal box with this checkbox in here and some text. And then we have the session list scroll box, which essentially just is our server list. So let's look at the code here. If we click the find session button, then the first thing we're going to do is that session list scroll box, which I have promoted to a variable. So if you click on it and promote it to a variable, first we're going to clear it. At that point, we are going to disable our find session button, which will indicate to us that we are looking for a session. And at that point, we use the Unreal Engine find sessions node. So let's take a look at this node. This node asks us for a player controller, a max result, and whether or not we want to use LAN. So use LAN in this case means, are we searching for LAN matches or are we searching for online matches? So for that I used my little checkbox, so this checkbox over here, and that checkbox will set that variable to true or false. And then the max result that it is asking for is basically how many sessions do we want to find displayed to the user. So you can type in 100 here, which will be a very large server browser. But for my example, I've simply typed in 25 here. And my following logic here is that if no sessions have been found, which means a failure, then basically I will enable that find session button again. So I will set this button here back to enabled so that we can click it again to look for sessions again. And on success, we're simply going to have a for each loop of that result array. So for example, the result session array might return 5 sessions that we have found. And for each one of these sessions, we are going to create our little join session widget, which is this widget, which is basically a server browser item. And on that widget, we are then going to fill in from our
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
result,
6
and then we're going to add this widget to the scroll box as a child. So that's the only logic here. And if we take a look at that, then I can host a session for, let's say, 10 players. I can click on host, my session is then hosted. And then if I click find session, the button gets disabled. And after some time, you will see that my session will be found here. And it will display my server name, in this case the name of my local PC, the amount of players, 1 out of 10 currently, and the ping of the session. And if I hit join, it will then connect to the session, and I am done here. Okay, then now that we understand the find session node, let's take a look at how that join session node works. So back in our widget blueprint join session, we have this event for when we click the session button, and here we simply have the join session node. So what does this node need? Well, this node is only asking for a player controller, so simply plug in your player controller, and then the search result is asking for a blueprint session result structure. So like I said before, we get one by right clicking on these functions and promoting it to variable. You then get yourself the variable over here. We've made it instance editable and we have exposed it on spawn so that we can fill that information in. And that's the session that we're plugging in here as well. And then as you see on the success and on the failure, I have not coded anything. On the failure here, most of the times you would have some feedback to the player displaying what the failure is, or that you cannot join the session and that you should try again later. And on the success, we don't have to code anything. That is because our engine, by default, on the success will connect you to the map of that session. So you don't have to code anything. Simply, if you hit the join session button, you will automatically connect and join that session. What you could do here, and what I do in the multiplayer blueprint lobby solution product, for instance, is that here on success, I then create a loading screen and have that pop up while you're connecting. Alright, now that we understand how we can join the session, then let's look at the final thing, which is how we can leave the session again. So let's host one more match for that. and let's join it. Join. Alright, so as you see, this is now the client here on the right, and this is then the server, the host here on the left. And now this client decides to leave, so what I've made is this little leave session button, and when he clicks it, he returns back to the main menu as you see, and this guy here will stay in the session. This guy can then also leave the session and return to the main menu. So what do I do there? Well, that's very simple. If we take a look at this widget here, when we click the leave session button, we simply have a destroy session event, and after destroying the session, we are then going to open the level of the main menu here. In this scenario, we don't have to fill in the options string here. All you have to do is fill in the level name that you want to exit to. So what is the destroy session node and why do you need to use it? Well, if you are currently in an active session, or if you hosted a session yourself and you don't destroy it after leaving it, then you are not able to host new sessions. So you have to destroy your old session before you can host or join a new one. And that is what the destroy session node is for. Alright guys, I hope I explained it good for you guys and that you guys understand what sessions are in our engine, how you can host and join sessions, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye! Also, we have created a product on the marketplace called the Multiplayer Blueprint Lobby Solution. The Multiplayer Blueprint Lobby Solution has all of these features integrated and much more, such as a whole lobby system where you can ready up, have character customization, etc, etc. So in case you guys are interested in that, we have that available on the marketplace for you as well. Bye bye! Hello guys, and welcome to my video about replication basics.
Oh wow, his portals look almost exactly like mine. Okay, we need, how about... That was not helpful.
Hello guys.
We need to create our own multiplayer blueprint in general, creating our own levels. These are hours long each.
What's up everybody, and welcome to my first Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. So in this series we're going to make a full game, and we're actually going to make a multiplayer game. It's going to be a pretty simple shooter game, and it's not really that much about the gameplay itself. It's more about setting up the framework for multiplayer and how all of those things work. So we're going to take a look at the different classes that we can.
Create and join session. Yeah, thanks. Ridiculous.
What's up everybody, welcome back. So in the previous video we started setting up a little bit of our framework, and we have our main menu set up. We can hit the solo button and we can walk around with our little girl in the level and shoot around a bit. So we have a pretty solid start, and in this video we're going to look at creating a session and joining a session for our multiplayer setup. But first of all, I wanted to do a little introduction into multiplayer.
Okay, hold on. I need a soda.
Beginners, so I'm still a beginner as well, but I want to try and explain a little bit what's going on. So if you're a little bit into multiplayer already, you can probably skip this. So as I usually do, I'll put chapters in the timeline, and you can simply hover over the timeline and look for a part of the video that does interest you. But for now, I'm going to try and explain what would happen if you are playing a multiplayer game and what different classes, how they behave and things like that. So we made a little scene, and this would represent a single player game, and the key would
What the fuck?
the dude behind is playing it, and this would be the character in the game, so that would be the character blueprint, for example. And this would be a simple single player game. Now, what would happen if we would turn this into a multiplayer game? Then all of a sudden we have two instances of the game with both two characters and there's two people playing. And this would be a listen server model, so that would be a pretty common model used for Unreal Engine. This means that one of the players is also the host. Another option would be to run a dedicated server, and in that case there would be a separate computer that would be the host, and for that computer there would be nobody playing, so that would only be the host and all players would be clients. And the benefit from that would be that the host would have to do no visual or audio or play effects and things like that, because there's nobody actually playing behind that machine, and also none of the people playing would have the benefit of being the host because everybody is a client. So there's a small difference.
Oh my god. Join and host a game. Yeah, Jesus, 6 minutes. This is what I want. This is so fucking annoying, trying to find fucking bullshit.
By the end of this video, you'll have a fully working joining and hosting system for a peer-to-peer multiplayer game. Before we begin on the code, there are a few things we need to set up. First thing we need to do is set our game map to a listen server. To do that, go to your map, and at the top you'll see 3 dots. Click on them, and then under net mode, select play as listen server. Then set the player's value to 2, testing purposes. Next, in the content browser, right-click and select level, then name it opening map and open it. Now, in the world settings tab, you need to set the game mode override to game mode. Then go to edit, then project settings, and under maps and mode, set the game default map to opening map, then save. Now we need to make the UI for our joining and hosting system. First, in the content browser, we want to right click and then make a new folder called UI. Then in the UI folder, we want to right click and under user interface, select widget blueprint. Then in the pop-up box, just select user widget and name it UI underscore multiplayer.
Maybe.
Then open it. First, you want to set up a canvas panel, then a border.
So the only problem that I don't like about this one is that it looked like at the end he put it to where you had to do the IP address, and I don't want people to have to type in their own IP address. I need it to be able to find another session.
Parent with
There's only 6 minutes, so let's just see everything that they say.
200 to left and right, 100 top and bottom. Next, pull out a horizontal box. Then pull out 3 vertical boxes. Under it, set to fill. Next, drag out a text block to the middle vertical box. Set it to center justification on the text. Then set the font to 48 and make it say main menu. Then pull out a spacer under the text box, set to fill, followed by a button and a text block with font 36 saying host game.
Ooh, here we go.
Make it.
And we're going to have to bind it, and I want to see the programming of the button. It's the thing that I'm not understanding.
Next, follow it by another spacer set to fill, and another.
Okay, we're making the menu, putting the buttons on there.
The box.
Cool.
All widgets now.
There we go, finally.
We'll drop by adding the on-click to black.
Okay.
Then name the box server IP, then open the graph view. Now we need to code the joining and hosting system. We'll start with the host game system by adding the on-clicked event for our button. Next from it, we'll drag out a remove all widgets node, followed by a create session node.
Create session.
With player controller set using a get owning player node. Then from the on success pin, drag out an open level node and set it to the name of your level. Drop down, but listen in the options field. Next, we will work on our IP field by selecting the on-test committed event from the server IP bot. Then from check, drag out a promote to variable node and name it value IP, then save. Next, we'll work on the join system by adding the on-clicked event for the join button. Then drag out a remove all widgets node, followed by an execute console command node. The specific player pin being set to a get owning player node. Then for command, we'll drag out an append node with A being set to open space. The space is important. Then for the B, we can use the IP variable from earlier. Then to prevent the player from locking up their game because of a wrong IP, we will drag out a delay node set to 5 seconds. Then we will recreate the widget, put it to the viewport. Then you can save and compile. Back in your main menu map, we need to open up the level blueprint by going to the blueprint icon and selecting it. Then from the event begin play event, you want to drag out a create widget node set to the UI with owning player set to a get player controller node, and drag out an add to viewport node. Finish by dragging out a set show mouse cursor node and setting it to true. Then connect it to the execute path and save and compile. You can now test it by pressing play. You'll see 2 windows open. On one, press host game and wait for it to load. And then in the other, for server IP, type 127.0.0.1 and then press join game and it should load. You now have a full hosting and joining menu for your multiplayer game. If you found this video helpful and want to see more weekly videos, please subscribe and ring the bell. It's free and only takes us.
Okay. That was a good one, but we need it to actually be a little bit more polished than that. So that's what we're gonna favorite this one, but I don't want it to look like that. I want it to look like I don't want to type in the thing there at the end is a really big deal to me. So I need to know host and join. Let's see if he has a better version. Oh, I like this guy.
Yo, what is up? We're going to be doing a multiplayer setup today. I am going to be running it through 5.6, but it will work for earlier versions because the logic's the same.
I'm on 5.5.
But I'm going to click on this third person option right here. And I have variants because this is 5.6, but you probably, well, if you're not using 5, drag that in here.
Let's just make sure that his shit works. Okay, create session. This is what I want. And see, it has creatier. Okay, game instance.
Well, I didn't use my combat thing. Maybe. See, created server, created listening, and we're gonna do join session.
Join session.
And it'll take a little bit because it's going into the server.
Okay. Join session. Bam. Perfect.
And there I am.
Yes.
And there's the other 5.6, but it will work.
Okay, this is the actual guy that we want right here. Yeah, am I not subscribed? Man.
For earlier versions,
6, 7.
the logic's the same. But I'm going to click on this third person option right here.
God damn it, I knew I was going to start saying
I
that
have
unironically eventually.
5.6, but you probably, well, if you're not using 5.6, you don't. So you can run it on anything, it doesn't really matter. If anything that you can have like multiple different characters.
Finally got me.
You can do this. So let me make this, I'm going to do the combat variant. Why not? So what I'm going to be doing for this is I'm going to be creating a host.
I finally found the one that we need. The video that we have been searching for. This whole couple hours. So this is a 20-minute video, which means it'll take us about an hour to implement. That's not bad though, right? And we already found out that that other version of Kudomon we had to do that one thing, right? We had to update it. Just what?
What do you think?
You heard me.
Did I?
No, I'm just kidding. You probably heard words, but you didn't understand what I was saying. We already had the Conv client thing. I'm really glad we found that because I didn't even think about that until we started this session, that we would need to test the client server working with our AI, because our AI goes to another website and another website. And still works like lightning fast somehow, right?
Yes.
Because we're really efficient.
Very.
Okay. So this guy I really like. His name is Carbonic Acid Studios. Hell yeah. He's really good.
Join session thing. If you click host, then you're going to be running the listen server. And then when you hit join, you join in on that server. And
Look at him with his tiny little port, video port here.
Yep,
Look at my friend over here.
For the project name, I'm calling it multiplayer setup. I know you can't
My
see
little
it
friend.
because I can't see it because my face is blocking it on OBS.
He's probably like 7 foot in real life.
Just
He looks like a
multiplayer
tall
setup, you
dude.
can call it whatever you want. If it's a project you already have, just use that. Doesn't even matter. Alright, I'm gonna hit create. Waiting here, awkwardly, staring at each other. Alright,
What's up?
Alright, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna start with this. Pressing shift or holding shift and pressing F11 to maximize the screen.
What?
Oh,
You can do that? What was that?
In.
Why is closed captioning not on?
Get up a little bit.
This is so helpful.
I'm gonna start by creating a folder here, and I'm gonna name it me.
What? Me? What? Okay, so where are we gonna create this folder? Let's go under first person. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, and then we're going to create a new folder. We're calling it me? Sure. You goofy goober. I like you. Me?
Because I'm just gonna throw all the stuff for this in this one folder. Not how you should normally organize, but I'm just doing this for the sake of the video. So, I don't really care so
okay,
much.
now I don't like that.
Alright, so I want
Bro,
to
I have
create
to have
a game instance
some organization here.
that
You know how disorganized I get so quickly? How disorganized do we get in programming, baby?
Very
disorganized.
But not normally, right?
No.
Naming conventions is super important, isn't it? Yeah. We've all been there, believe me.
well as a map.
No matter how many times I've been taught that lesson, I still get taught it pretty often. That's why we do camel case, right?
What?
Everything I do is camel case. We like those humps.
You're a hump.
You're
I'm
my
actually gonna
hump.
just start by creating the map because the new level will be easy. So I'm just gonna hit level, and this is going to be where like our, it's not a main menu, the host and join thing. We'll just call it main menu. But yeah, this is gonna be where the main menu is gonna be loaded in. So I'm just gonna double click on this, save selected. So this is gonna be where you're gonna run.
Okay, so we want our main menu to be on the beach, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know why we made that folder. Now I don't even want this folder called me. I already have my folders here.
I'm just gonna run in a dark screen. I don't really care. All right, so
Dark mode.
Let's go by creating a game instance. What the? I don't know why that wasn't working. All right, let me hit blueprint class here.
Blueprint class.
Drop down all classes, and
All
then
right.
I'm gonna hit in game instance.
Oof. Okay, this is a big deal. Alright, so we're gonna right click, blueprint class, and then game instance. Game instance can fuck up everything. Game instance has a lot of power. Game instance. Okay.
Click that game instance, select it. I'm gonna just call it BP underscore game instance.
Okay. So yes, game instance. BP underscore game instance. Okay.
Double click on it so I can open it. So this is where.
Okay. Double click on it. And this is where
the logic for the creating session and joining session is going to go. So I'm just going to create 2 custom events.
Okay. Hey, where are you at? What are we supposed to do?
No.
Add 2 custom events. How do you do that? Huh? You right click and you type in custom event. Hey, look at this. I need you to see this.
1 minute.
59. 58.
Really?
One of them being.
Okay, so what you do is you right click and you just type in custom event, and now we have a custom event here, right? So this is, and then compile them because they don't do anything, but now they're actually created. Now these are events, but we're gonna have to rename them. Create session, and use a space there. He did not use an underscore, which is interesting, right? Create space session.
And the other going to.
Okay. What is a session? Create. So this is creating the host game right now. That's what we're doing.
Before
and then
joining the session. Join
what happened?
Session.
Oh, join session. So create or host a game. And this is join session. Okay, compile and save. Create and join. So we're making those 2 little buttons that pop up.
Alright, cool. And I can drag off of this, and we're going to be wanting to get the create session.
Create.
Not this one, because this is the function that we just created. We want to use this one.
Okay, so then there's another thing called create session. This is, oh fuck, was it a function or an online? Create session online? I'm guessing it's a local. Ooh, so it's a function.
Not this one, because this is the function that we just created. We want to use this
one. An online. Ooh, fancy. Don't get to do the fun ones very often. What was that called? Create session online, right?
Yes.
Ooh, that's so cool. The fun stuff, finally. Yeah, all fun stuff.
And as you can see, there's a bunch of things on it. I'm going to drag off the player controller here, and I'm going to get player controller.
Okay. So here, get player controller. From our level, it'll automatically know. And that'll be the client.
0. So the get player controller is the controller that's run on your machine. So I'm going to be using a similar one for join session.
Yep.
The same thing. Not even
The level itself
the
tells the player.
Public connections, I'm going to make 4, but this is the amount of players that can run in this session.
Okay, so how many people do we want? Probably just 2 to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want 50 people to all be battling. I don't know, that would be kind of sick. I don't know how we're gonna... No, I don't know.
That'd be a tournament by that point.
So,
yeah.
Just gonna make it 4. I'll probably only be running 2 for this, just for the sake
I was thinking of how we're gonna set this up initially is we'll have one person has Osabat and one person has, you know, Sprocket, and they already have it loaded there, and they're gonna be standing by their Pokemon. But eventually we'll have it to where, you know, they carry their Pokemon with them as they go into different levels.
Yeah.
But we'll have to have it to where it saves their Pokemon somehow.
Yeah.
And...
I mean, Kudomon.
Yeah, Kudomon.
running this, but
Not that other
you
P
can
word.
add as many as you want.
P word. Gross, I hate
use
saying
lobbies
that.
Available, that's good. If you're running it on like
Pussy.
Steam lobbies
Is it
or
easy word to say them?
EOS or something like that, then decide you want.
Oh, whoa.
If you want,
Hey, we're not watching. Sit down. Why are you standing up?
Stretching.
Okay, so what happened here? Why is it
I'm gonna be using
use lobbies if available? Okay, he already checked it. Use local area network is probably what we want to do, though. Because I want to use my
similar
phone.
one for join session. The same thing. Not even similar, just the same. Public connections, I'm going to make 4, but this is the amount of players that can run in this session. So, just gonna make it 4. I'll probably only be running 2 for this, just for the sake of running this, but you can add as many as you want. Use lobbies available, that's good. If you're running it on like Steam lobbies or EOS or something like that, then decide you want to run it. If you want to use LAN, then use LAN. And then on success, I want to print a string. And this is more for my own sanity. This doesn't actually do anything for the game itself.
I don't even like printing strings.
It's just going to let me know that the server is created.
Alright, fine, we'll do it though.
Listening.
I just like to know that actually. On networking stuff, I don't mind seeing it, but most of the stuff I don't normally do. Print string, right? Server created and listening. Server created and listening. Listening.
Really? Listening.
Okay. Hell.
You to do this part, but I don't know. Makes me feel better, I guess. Want to open a level by object reference. I'm not gonna do name. I'm gonna do object reference because it's a lot easier just to hit that drop-down menu and then pick the world that we're gonna be using.
Okay, and then open level. And then, what was the name of that other level that we made? It's just first person map 1, right?
Yeah.
We tried the other name, but it was glitched for some reason. So we're just gonna copy and paste that name right there. I use F2 and then Control C, but every time you press F2, you have to do it twice for some reason.
For third person, we're currently in New World. We want to open this level up when you create the session.
All right.
So it takes you there. For options, I'm going to make it listen. This is important. This is how you make it a listen.
Okay. Wait, what? Options. Listen. Do not fuck up spelling that. I don't like ever typing in shit myself.
Server,
I like copying and pasting
all I have to
other.
do for the join session is then join that listen server.
Accidentally press a space or something and fuck up.
Make sure you type in listen here.
Okay, join
so
session.
Then I need to find the session. Find session.
Under join session, we click find session. Find sessions. Oh, sessions. What? What was it supposed to look like?
Your join session. So I'm going to find the session.
Okay, good.
I'm going to get the player controller off.
Is that right? Yeah, it's the exact same. Okay.
For this, again, same player controller.
Get player controller.
But.
Okay, player controller, just get player controller. Player controller. What? Player controller. I think I did 1L. I don't normally take L's.
This one's going to be running off of the join session.
Compile and save.
Which you can do because these things are...
Shit, my mouse is dying. Compile and save. It doesn't happen very often. Do you see the... Where's the batteries? Where are they?
Way over there.
What? Oh, I see it. Jesus. It's so weird whenever it dies because it doesn't die for like weeks. Right?
Or months.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I can't remember the last time that the thing died. Why are you tapping it out?
Dead out.
It's resin. You don't need to tap it out very often. If I check the ashtrays, you'd be tapping out resin like that.
Run off of machine.
Anything black is going to be
results.
ash.
Is
Nothing
basically
else.
how many...
Huh?
Well, that's why I tapped it right here.
That's good.
Sessions are
Makes
loaded.
more sense.
So I'm going to do 10. You get like 10 max results.
Max results? You can have 10? Okay. I really just want to have 2 people fighting each other. Would be the coolest shit ever.
Your session's in. It doesn't matter for me for this because I'm just going to be getting the 1. So I'm just going to get off of this, get a copy of the results here.
Okay, results. Get. Are you watching? From results, you drag out, get a copy.
Here.
Okay.
This index here goes through all your different results. This is just going to be picking the top one off the list because I have it at 0 right now, but you can drag this and make this a variable and do things with it and stuff. But for me, I'm just going to be dragging off the top of the list just for the sake of setting up for the multiplayer. So join session. And then I'm going to do on success, I want to join the session. And I want to get the player controller.
Okay, so on success. Wait, where do you get the join session? What?
Make this a variable and do things with it and stuff. But for me,
Did we just already do that? Get. Okay, well we did that.
yeah, I'm just gonna be dragging off the top of the list just for the sake of
Where are we getting?
setting up for the multiplayer. So,
Join session. Okay. Alright, so from find session,
Click get.
and then join session. And that's on success of clicking the button. It's going to get the player controller, and then on success of you clicking it, it's going to join session. Right? Okay. So far so good. It connects.
And then I'm going to do on success, I want to join the session.
Join session.
And I want to get the player controller and drag that into.
Ooh. Okay, so the player controller is now being added to the session. That's how. It's not. So it's no longer from the level. The game instance is replacing the level's information right here now. That was very confusing to me. I didn't know that. Because it makes sense when the game instance would do it, but it does sometimes. But this is when multiplayer messes up your level programming.
Player controller. And that should work.
There's 3 different things: game mode, game instance, and then the level instance. Can all 3 fuck up your shit if they say different things.
Alright, so
what's really annoying too is, where do you make the health? Do you make the health on the level? Do you make the health on the individual character? Do you make it on the game instance? Do you make it on the game mode? And if you sometimes you accidentally make it on one of those wrong layers, and then you'll be like, why is he double health this time? Or why is he dying twice as fast? Because he already had it. Like, he takes 5 damage. He takes 5 damage. Like, so he gets it from the game mode and the instance.
Yeah, maps and modes. Project settings, maps and modes. I want to make my new world my default world. So new world is my default world, and then I want the game instance to be BP game instance. And that's the game instance that we just created.
Okay. See, this could be a problem. Because I don't know if we have other things on our game. Do we have another game instance? Shit. Have we? I don't know if we've made any game instances for this, right?
Not that I know of.
But for sure, what is this? The world details has a lot of crazy shit on it. And that makes me concerned. Or, like, what about the level? Open the level blueprints. See right here? Like, the widget is added through the level. Okay, well, I guess that's fine. So, open... Shit. Where's this at? What did he say? Maps and modes. Game instance. Edit. Project settings. Maps and modes. Maps and modes. Okay, default maps. Oh my god. Son of a bitch. Platform. Editor.
Why did you pick out of the maps and modes?
Huh? There it is. Okay, and then here we go. Game instance. We named it BP game instance, right?
Yeah.
Where the fuck is this? Huh?
What?
See this? Game instance class is already this. So I was trying to find it. Because it says it's in this level, but I don't see... Where does it say game instance at? It doesn't, right? Yeah. What? There's the IK retargeter. There's not a game instance. I think it's just making up. It's hallucinating. Okay, so we're changing it to that.
The new one.
Okay.
Alright. Then I can start getting my, whatever you'd call it, main menu, I guess. I don't know.
Oh.
Start creating the main menu. Blueprint class, and then I'm going to do a user widget.
Okay. Alright, so we're saving this. So, one of the only things is that we already have a lot of widgets happening, right? Because we have... Convy has a widget, and all this other bullshit. And Google is our widget. Excuse me. Alright, I gotta go pee really fast. Excuse me. So, are you making hamburgers for tonight, though? Right? Right?
Really? Really?
All right. Here we go. All right. All right, we're halfway through it, baby.
Click on.
All right. I need to make a widget. Yeah, weed or something.
Something. I had to put that on the charger.
Yeah, well, I needed to hit it, is why I was trying to freaking get it on the charger.
Start creating the main menu. Blueprint class, and then I'm going to do a user widget. Click on the user widget and select it. I'm going to call it WB for widget blueprint underscore. It's not really main menu. I'm going to main menu. I don't care.
Oh, come on.
Main.
All right. So
My blueprint.
Right click on. What are we supposed to make here? Remember?
You said something about main menu and I don't know.
Yep.
Huh?
Right click. We're making a user widget first. User interface, right? UI. And then we're making a widget blueprint. And we want to make a user widget. And then we're going to call this the multiplayer WB widget blueprint. What did he call
class, and then I'm going to do a user widget. Click on the user widget and select it. I'm going to call it WB for widget blueprint underscore.
Oh. What did you call
It's
it?
not really main menu.
It's not.
I'm going to call main menu. I don't care.
Okay.
Main menu, whatever. I'm going to drag a canvas panel in here.
Okay. I like this guy's style though. Let's do WB at the beginning because that might trip me out if he does WB and it doesn't pop up my thing. He did main menu, but I'm gonna do multiplayer. Whoa. What the fuck? That was cool as shit looking. It already knows. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be badass. Okay, drag the canvas panel here first. Canvas panel. So, bing. Alright. So this is our viewport, obviously. And then we're gonna be putting, this is like the text that you'd be putting on to stuff, right? Or buttons. So we're gonna be putting a join button and a host button. We need to be a join and a host and a join. Buttons.
And this canvas panel is the entire screen, what the screen's gonna look like. So I want to add some buttons. I'm going to drag that in here. And I want to add a text on top of those buttons.
Button.
So make sure it's like they're all subs to each other.
Okay, so where the fuck are we putting these buttons? Because our game is covered in screens currently, right?
Yeah.
So, let's, first of all compile that, and then we're gonna need buttons. Button. It would be nice too if you like walked over to an area maybe. Or I don't know. It could just ask you right away. Would probably be the best, right? The game loads and it asks join host. Okay, so let's see here. Button.
Can maybe have it in the middle where it
So like Google pops up right there and stuff. We have all these other buttons. Maybe right here. You remember what this game looks like already? Let's press play. Whoops, I forgot that. Oh no. Don't.